What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of L.O.S Sports Podcast. Today, we've got an awesome episode for you guys on where Tua Tagovailoa should fall in the draft. Personally, I believe he's a fourth-round pick at the earliest, but that's what this video is here to discuss.
And I am against that, but before we get into that, we need to address the coronavirus. It's canceled all sports, all professional sports, which sucks. It sucks for us fans because we were gonna do a video on March Madness and just the tournament itself and just stuff like that, but with it being canceled, we can't do that anymore. And it sucks for fans. It sucks for those seniors that don't get a chance to play in these things, that tournament. So it's just unfortunate. We have to wait another year for that.
So yeah, we hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you guys' loved ones are staying safe. But anyways, let's get right into the video.
So we will be talking first about how Tua is gonna go first round for sure. He's gonna go fifth overall to the Miami Dolphins. First off, I think it's gonna be Miami because they've been planning this for a year. Like, if you see it, they literally tanked. They tanked for Tua. There's all these rumors about them taking Tua. Even the Redskins at 2 now. I've heard rumors that Tua's going there, and that's what I think where he's gonna go, 5th. There's no way. And personally, I like Herbert over him, but I just think that Tua's gonna go there, and Tua is definitely a first round, just talent-wise.
And to add on to that, there's no way that the Dolphins are not ready for a franchise quarterback. If you think about it, the way they've moved in free agency with the huge signings of Kyle Van Noy, they've signed Jordan Howard to take the workload at running back. They've signed Byron Jones, made him the highest paid corner in NFL history. So you can see that the Dolphins are ready to contend for a Super Bowl, contend in the AFC, because they're gearing up, and all they need is
Super Bowl. Calm down. Playoffs right now.
All right, all they need is that franchise quarterback,
steps.
okay? And so if they're going to take Tua,
true,
then they should take him in the 4th round. Anyway, continue your point.
Tua will not be in there in the 4th round. But anyway, we're going to go through Tua's stats. So in 2018, he had almost 4,000 yards passing, and this year he had 2,840 yards passing, and that's just because he was hurt. And obviously, those are great numbers. He had great numbers. He threw 33 touchdowns this year, only 3 interceptions. That was pretty nice as well. He has a talent. He did some great things at Alabama. Won when he was a freshman, right? He came in and won against Clemson. That was huge. He literally came back.
It was Georgia. It was Georgia.
Yeah, you're right. It was Georgia.
In overtime.
Against Sony Michel and Nick Chubb. Don't forget about that.
Yep.
And Tua ended up winning that game. And he's proven himself. He has tons of individual accolades, such as like the 2018 Maxwell Award, runner-up at the Heisman last year. And if it wasn't for injury, he might have, been a Heisman this year. You never know. He's had stats. He has the speed as well. He is pretty fast. Going off, he doesn't turn the ball over that much, and he's pretty smart. He can read defenses. He's been doing this since a young age, and I think that he's proven himself. And that's enough for the Miami Dolphins to take him.
And so, what those stats do not show you is the absurd amount of history he has within the injury column. First, let's date it back to the first spring practice of 2018, his sophomore year. The first spring practice, this is very insignificant, but he hurt his index finger. He was throwing to a receiver, and an O-lineman backed up into him. It's like a quarterback's worst nightmare. I can't even imagine. Anyway, he had surgery, but he missed no time, still attended every single practice. He was fine. Later that year, in October of 2018, he sprained his knee versus, I believe it was Tennessee, because an offensive lineman rolled up on him. And then he actually ended up missing no time. He came back and played. But shortly, a month later, he ended up getting a left quad injury. Again, he didn't really miss any time. He played the next game, and he played the next game against the Citadel, which was actually a fun game. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember that.
The Citadel was winning at halftime, and then, I tell my dad, I'm like, Dad, check this out. The Citadel's going to win. He's like, Alabama will have 45 by the time it's game over, and they scored 45, so he was right. But after this left quad injury is when things start to get really, really questionable. A month later, again, December of 2018, he broke his left ankle. He ended up missing 28 days after the surgery, and this surgery was a surgery that involved a polyethylene cord that attach the tibia and fibula together. So it's invasive. It's getting into his bones and ligaments.
Basically, it's not very good.
Yeah, it's kind of a gnarly injury and a surgery and a procedure that you don't really want to be a part of. So, obviously, like I said, surgery needed, and that basically kind of ended his campaign of 2018, his sophomore campaign. To kick off his junior year, 2019, he got a high ankle sprain in his right leg, which is different. The previous injury, which was his left ankle, which is, you should note, very important for a lefty because that's the leg that they drive off of. In 2019, he has a ankle injury in a different ankle, so it's not a recurring injury, but rather something that can kind of be questionable for his durability. Now, as a Colts fan, I am very, very much cringing at the sign of a high ankle sprain because Andrew Luck had a high ankle sprain in March, and then he ended up retiring on August 28th. Yes, I remember the day. It was tragic. Anyway, a month later, November of 2019, this is when the gruesome hip dislocation fracture happened. He was rolling out of the pocket, throws the ball away, and two defenders hit him. His knee goes into the turf, and the ball of his femur, hits the wall of his hip, clips kind of that joint, and then ends up breaking the back posterior wall. Now, I am not a doctor, but that sounds disgusting.
He did get airlifted.
Yeah, and it was it was compared to the injury that took Bo Jackson out of football. Now, Bo Jackson is arguably the greatest athlete of all time. He played baseball. I mean, the dude was absolutely absurd. Supposedly ran a 4.13, but that's not official because it wasn't at the combine. But anyway, if we look back at this, including the spring practice injury from October of his sophomore year to November of his junior year, that's a 13th-month span in which he had 5 injuries and 3 surgeries. Now, this is significant because Andrew Luck retired, as I mentioned earlier, at only 29 years old because he said that injuries have taken the love of football out of him for the game. He said it was just rehab, injury, cycle. And the same thing with Luke Kuechly at 28. He was concerned about his brain and those type of injuries. And both of these players were at the top of their tier at the time they retired. So if you're taking a quarterback in the first round, more specifically 5, as you argued, to the Miami Dolphins, they expect you to be a franchise quarterback, to play at a very high level. And not only that, play 17 games, assuming this CBA stuff goes through. It's gone through.
So there's 17.
God, that's going to be weird to adjust to. Anyway, I mean, you're expected to play 17 games at a high level for a very, very long time. And if you're having 5 injuries per 13th month, and 3 of those are surgeries, that raises red flags to me.
Well, he's fought through these injuries.
That's true.
He's gotten stats. He's gotten wins. He's gotten games that he's played well in through these injuries. So there's that. Obviously, the NFL is a different game, but he's proven that he can play through them. And just another note that at the combine, he had a positive, physical, where teams were happy with his progress and said that he's gonna be able to be ready.
He should be healthy for the combine.
And obviously, like, today's technology allows players to come back faster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true with Andrew Luck and Luke Kuechly. That's what you got to watch out for. It's tough. It's really tough with injuries. That's just the downside of sports. And I think that if he's able to fight through, which I think Miami's going to take the chance on, Miami's going to say, I think that we're going to be able to fight through these injuries.
Yeah.
Then maybe he can be great. I honestly, if I was the Dolphins, I'd take Herbert, just because I just like Herbert a lot more. But Tua has proven that he can play, and it's tough, injuries and all that. But you just gotta take those into account. And
the one thing about the injuries that's kind of surprising is the index finger injury in spring. He missed no time. The sprained ankle in October. He missed no time. The left quad injury in November, he played the next game. December, when he had that surgery, he only missed 28 days. The ankle sprain, he didn't miss a whole lot of time. Then, of course, that November 2019 hip dislocation. He didn't participate in the combine, which is in February.
Pro Day is going to be big.
That is very true. He could maybe kind of show up in his pro day, do a couple of drills to show people that he can still move, that he can still play, that he can still throw the ball. But overall, I think the risk of Tua Tagovailoa and 13 months, 5 injuries, 3 surgeries is just too much of a risk to pass up on in that first round. I think you've got to wait to at least day 3 to select.
You know what?
him.
If I'm the Dolphins, I'm thinking the same thing. But I know that they just want to take the chance. You know, they've been planning this out for a year. Their owner and their GM both love him. You know, and he had great tests at Combine, just like interviews and stuff. So, you know, he's definitely gonna go. Like in my mock draft, like I definitely have him.
There's no doubt that he's got awesome character, that he's an awesome locker room guy, that he'll fit into, you know, any team that drafts him.
And he's going to give 100% effort every time. But injuries suck, and so hopefully we always, you know, wish players to be good.
Yeah.
And not have injuries, but they happen.
Like, our philosophy here is we're never going to tell a player what they can't do, what they won't do,
Exactly.
or what they're not capable of doing, because we wish every single person would be first-team All-Pro every single year. We never wish for the downfall of a player unless they're like a criminal or something like that. Then, you know, that's fine. You can have a poor career. But Tua, if you're listening, I don't hate you. I hope you have success. I'm not saying that you should go 4th round because I hate you.
Just be careful.
Yeah, be careful. And I think that just as a Colts fan, I understand the concept of recurring injuries a little bit better than the other 31 franchises. Maybe you could argue the Panthers with Luke Kuechly. But I would play it a little bit conservative. Do I think he will go 4th round? Probably not. Some QB needy team that maybe needs a boost to their fan base will take him. But if I'm an NFL general manager, I'm not sure I've got Tua Tagovailoa in my mind until day 3. So
that wraps it up on Tua. There'll be more videos coming. This is prime time for videos.
we'll have
I wish that we had March Madness, but obviously we don't. But we will have free agency. We will have more draft stuff coming up, our rankings on Instagram and stuff. So
if you don't follow us on Instagram,
better.
you can follow us on L.O.S Sports Podcasts. We're going to start posting a lot of player profiles. Some of the bigger names we'll start posting on our YouTube.
Yeah.
But we're going to, both Tyler and I, we love sports. We do a lot of scouting. Like, we just watched the Combine 30 minutes ago. So, you know, we love sports and we love scouting. So you'll get
keep this up.
You'll get a lot of cool player profiles coming. So, yeah, that wraps up the episode. So we hope that you liked it. If you did, leave a like. Maybe consider subscribing. And leave us a comment on any videos ideas you've got next.
Bring back NCAA football, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna keep saying that till it happens. So bring back NCAA.
Let's go. All right, thank you.